Hello friends, welcome to Dungeons & Dragonfly, where I adapt various characters for use in D&D. I'm Dragonfly9078, and today I'm building Himiko Toga. After the build, be sure to check out my channel to vote for the next one. So there's really two main things that are going to drive this build. First is that Himiko is a serial killer and a spy for the League of Villains, who can hold her own in a fight against pro heroes with her knife skills and acrobatic moves. The other big thing is her quirk, Transform, which lets her turn into someone by drinking their blood. And after her quirk's awakening, can even let her use their quirks, though that does require a close emotional connection, so she's only managed it with one person so far in the anime. Looking over at ability scores, I'll be using the standard point array. If you want to roll for stats, that's fine, just make sure your dexterity and charisma are high enough to multiclass. Starting off with a 12 in strength, Toga is athletic and can match heroes in training like Uravity and Froppy. Dexterity's 14, she's nimble and good with a knife, then Constitution is 13, so she can take a few of Curious's explosions. We'll dump Intelligence, we don't really need it, and Toga did drop out of high school. Then we'll put our 10 in Wisdom. She is one of the more empathetic of the League of Villains, so we'll boost it up as we go. Then we'll finish up with a 15 in Charisma. Our quirk relies on our acting skills to be most effective, and if nothing else, we do have a super cute smile. Himiko is a human, as are most of the characters in Hero Academia, but we'll actually use Vampire, since our quirk gives us fangs and a craving for blood. That boosts our Charisma to 17 and our Wisdom to 11, lets us see in the dark out to 60 feet with our special cat eyes, and gives us resistance to necrotic damage. If we have a creature that's grappled, restrained, incapacitated, or, just willing, we can make a special melee attack against them, dealing 1 piercing damage and 1d6 necrotic. Then we heal equal to the necrotic damage we dealt, and the target's maximum HP is reduced by the same amount until they take a long rest. Satisfying our craving after suppressing it for so long also gives us a burst of energy. Whenever we successfully drain blood with our special melee attack, our speed increases by 10 feet and we get advantage on strength and dexterity checks and saves for a minute. As one might assume for a member of something called the League of Villains, we're a criminal, meaning we get proficiency with deception, stealth, and thieves tools. We also have a contact, someone we can trust to deliver messages and find us work, like Girin, the broker who originally introduced us to the League. We'll start off as a rogue, giving us proficiency in 4 rogue skills. My picks are Insight, Perception, Sleight of Hand, and Acrobatics. We learn Thieves' Cant, and our criminal skills upgrade to Expertises. If we're going to be sneaking up on people, it would be good if we could make a sneak attack, adding an extra d6 of damage to our knife as long as we have advantage on our attack roll, or an ally within 5 feet of the attack target. Of course, if we miss, then we might want to back out in a hurry, so Cunning Action will let us hide, dash, or disengage with our bonus action. 3rd level rogues deal 2d6 damage with their sneak attack, and as a swashbuckler, our rakish audacity means we don't need advantage or a friend nearby to use ours, as long as our target is the only creature within 5 feet of us and we don't have disadvantage on the attack. That works out great if we're luring people into secluded areas and ambushing them, as does letting us add our charisma modifier to our initiative. Then our fancy acrobatic footwork lets us slip away even if we miss, as we don't provoke opportunity attacks from creatures that we've made a melee attack against in the same turn. We'll pick up the Actor feat next, which rounds off our charisma to 18 and helps with our disguises by giving us advantage on deception and performance checks made to pretend to be someone else, as well as letting us mimic voices and animal sounds after listening to them for a minute. Our sneak attack goes up by another die at 5th level, and we get Uncanny Dodge. When we get hit by an attack, we can use our reaction to twist and leap out of the way, cutting the damage in half. Then we'll upgrade our acrobatics proficiency to an expertise, and do the same for insight. As I said, Toga is one of the more empathic members of the League of Villains, and she truly cares about her comrades. But we do need to get our quirk eventually, so we'll jump over to Bard, netting us any one skill like Medicine to stitch up our battered friends. We can use Bardic Inspiration to hand out d6s to the other villains to increase their attacks, ability checks, or saving throws, and we get spells. Friends gives us advantage on charisma checks against a target for up to a minute, so we can convince people to be alone with us. But then they become hostile as they can tell that something isn't quite right, possibly because we attacked them. Minor Illusion can be used to throw our voice and conceal our location, or to project someone else's voice. It's not great for disguising our appearance since the illusion can't move, so we'll also grab Disguise Self to project an illusionary transformation. 2nd level bards are jacks of all trades, adding half our proficiency bonus to any ability checks we make that we aren't proficient in, which should help us bluff another person's skill set, at least for a little while. And Song of Rest can patch up our teammates after a loss, since villains aren't exactly welcome in the emergency room. We get more expertises at 3rd level, we'll say Perception and Sleight of Hand, and we'll join the College of Lore to get proficiency in Survival, Intimidation, and Athletics. Lore bards also have Cutting Words, so we can expend our Bardic Inspiration dice as a reaction to reduce an enemy's attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. Toga has a habit of being pretty unsettling to the people she fights, with her yandere demeanor and talk of love, blood, and what exactly it means to be a hero or a villain. To better play the roles that we need to play, Borrowed Knowledge can give us proficiency in the skill of our choice for an hour. Worth mentioning, Borrowed Knowledge, Disguise Self, and Minor Illusion all don't use our concentration, so they can all be up at the same time. We'll use our first ASI to round off our Constitution and Wisdom to 14 and 12 respectively, and pick up Light for a flashlight on our phone. At 5th level, our Bardic Inspiration dice become D8s and refill on any rest, and at 6th, we can use our action to ward off attempts at frightening or charming us with Counter Charm. As a lore bard, we also get additional magical secrets, spells from any list that count as bard spells for us. First up is Thorn Whip for our blood-draining whip syringe things. Not exactly sure what to call them. We make a spell attack against a creature within 30 feet, dealing up to 4d6 piercing damage on a hit and pulling them 10 feet closer to us if they are large or smaller. Then Alter Self is the real Transform. For up to an hour, we physically change into another form, though we're still humanoid and can't be a drastically different size. 7th level bards get 4th level spells, but I really don't want any. Toga isn't really a spellcaster, so we aren't going to be picking up nearly as many spells as our class allows us to. Though we will bump Dexterity to 16 with our next ASI, and our Song of Rest up to a D8 at 9th level. Our Athletics and Medicine proficiencies upgrade to Expertise next, and our Bardic Inspiration dice become D10s. Then we'll take Message to keep in contact with our league, and we get 2 more magical secrets, though, again, there's really no spells that I want. We'll just leave those slots open for any other quirks we get the ability to copy later on down the road. 11th level gives us 6th level spells, so we'll grab Skill Empowerment. Combined with Borrowed Knowledge, this lets us get Expertise with any skill we want, to add even more legitimacy to our disguises. Dexterity goes up to 18 with our last ASI, our Song of Rest die bumps up to a D10 at 13th level, then our capstone is the 14th level of Lore Bard for Peerless Skill, which lets us add our Bardic Inspiration dice to our own ability checks. More importantly, we get 2 more magical secrets, which we'll use to copy Ochako's quirk with Reverse Gravity. We reverse the gravity in a 50-foot radius, 100-foot high cylinder, levitating any creatures and objects in the area for up to a minute. Then, once the spell ends, everything falls, taking fall damage as normal. Now that the build is complete, let's take a look and see what we have done. So, right off the bat, I'm going to start with something I don't like about the build. I hate all of the bard levels. We don't need all the spells, or even most of the abilities. If it wasn't for Toga being able to copy quirks after her awakening, this would probably be a primarily rogue build with either a feat or a quick 1 or 2 level multiclass dip to get Disguise Self. But unfortunately, she can copy quirks. And not just any quirk, Ochako's quirk, which means we need a way to levitate people. Now we could just use Levitate, which I would likely use for a dedicated Ochako build, but Toga explicitly uses it to kill a bunch of people by dropping them, which Levitate can't do. The affected creature floats safely to the ground when the spell ends. So the best option is Reverse Gravity, which is a 7th level spell, meaning we needed at least 13 levels of Druid, Sorcerer, or Wizard, 14 of Bard for magical secrets, or 17 of Arcana Domain Cleric. Given those options, Bard was the best choice. On the more positive side, we're a very well-rounded character. We absolutely excel in non-combat situations with our 10 skill proficiencies, 8 of which are expertises, and our infiltration skills are top-notch. We can transform into basically anyone, either with a surface-level illusion that doesn't take our concentration, or a physical transformation that does. And we can bluff having expertise in any skill we need to make the disguise believable. In combat, we're no slouch either. We aren't dealing a whole lot of damage per turn, we've only got 3d6 sneak attack to add to our dagger's damage, and only 4d6 on our Thorn Whip, but we can boost our own attack rolls or cut down opponents with our Bardic Inspiration, and dodge away from damage and opportunity attacks as we chip them down. Plus, we'll almost always get the drop on our opponents, since between our Jack of all trades and Rakish Audacity, we get a total of plus 11 to our initiative. And then of course, Reverse Gravity is an absolutely enormous area of effect that practically guarantees 10d6 fall damage on everyone and everything inside of it.
お茶子ちゃん、あなたも素敵。私と同じ匂いがする。好きな人がいますよね。好きな人と同じになりたいよね。当然だよね。同じもの身につけちゃったりしちゃうよね。でもだんだん満足できなくなっちゃうよね。その人そのものになりたくなっちゃうよね。しょうがないよね。
Thank you for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed the build. Head on over to my community tab if you want to vote for the next character for me to do. This week is between Shiro from Voltron, Ember Lumen from Pixar's Elemental, and 2 choices from TF2, either the Sniper or the Demo Man. If you have any feedback or suggestions for characters you'd like to see me build, please leave them in the comments below and they could show up in a future poll. Leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks again for watching. I will see y'all later.